Yo, what's up guys? Schizomanic here to talk about Black Clover and its anime adaptation and how everyone has found their new most annoying shonen male character voice. Let's go. So far, they've adapted about 4 episodes. Now, those 4 episodes, only 2 of them actually adapt chapters out of the manga. And how many chapters are we into the manga? Oh, about 2 chapters out of the 4 episodes. Which gets into the discussion I want to have about Black Clover in terms of its pacing, its animation, and just how they plan to handle it. Because Studio Period, the studio is known for doing Bleach and Naruto. If we look at those series, you can already start to see some sort of parallels and some things that should be slightly concerning, but could potentially be great depending on how you look at it. So, first things first, it's already been confirmed that Black Clover is supposed to have 51 episodes. Why in the fuck would you do that? It's like you learn nothing from fucking My Hero Academia. I get it's a different studio and they have different ways of handling it. And to be fair, they've been trying to do Black Clover as an anime for a little while now, considering they released, I think, 2 OVAs for it already. And which kind of makes these first few episodes even worse, because if you watch the Black Clover OVAs, they already adapted all of this crap, except for maybe the newest episode, for episode 4. But like as far as the beginning of the chapter, the whole, I'm gonna be the Magic King, like, we've already seen that adapted. And we've seen future things adapted if you looked at the second OVA. The point I'm making is that it's all, and that's only the first problem, is that it's going to be a long string of 51 episodes continuously. The other problem is that from the way they're adapting the series currently, that means at best they won't even get through the chapter. They won't even get to like the best part of the manga, in my opinion. Like, one of the best arcs/fights is like the chapter right after where they're probably going to stop, unless they change the pacing, which is the next issue we need to talk about. They have slowed Black Clover, not to a crawl, but definitely nerfed the hell out of the pacing, which is kind of detrimental to the series, considering Black Clover's pacing was one of its key traits that made it way more appealing than the average shonen. Because it was a shonen series that didn't fucking drag. It always got through everything it was doing pretty quick. There is no real downtime in Black Clover, whereas the anime is already dedicated like 2 episodes to like filler bullshit nonsense, and you're just kind of sitting there in the corner going, that doesn't seem right. And technically it's not 2 episodes, it's like 1.5, because the first 2 episodes, they take the Boku no Hero approach, where they take the first chapter of the manga and adapt it through 2 episodes. Although half of the second episode, although it's still adapting the rest of the manga of chapter 1, it also adds in a bunch of fucking filler, which is where the third issue comes in. The show is only on episode 4 and already has like about 2 episodes worth of filler. I think there's been filler in literally every episode other than the first one. The third episode was complete filler, and the 4th episode was in the beginning filler. And you're just kind of like, that's kind of concerning. Which really doesn't make sense. Why the fuck you made this a 51 episode series if you're already throwing filler in the beginning of the show? Now, the reason why this could potentially be a good thing is from some of the sequences we've already seen, especially in episode 4, where they introduced Noel without actually introducing Noel, in the sense that, because Black Clover, kind of like One Piece, has a lot of moments in which it kind of just skips over some shit for the sake of trying to cut the bullshit. One Piece will skip shit and still be slow in some aspects. Black Clover does it. But the thing with me is that Black Clover never really did it to an extent where I was mad that it was skipping content. But it seems like, at least with the filler they are throwing in, seems to at least add to certain elements of the show. like having an episode for the most part dedicated to Yuno and Asta traveling together to get to the capital. That's not in the manga. In the manga, it literally goes from Asta gets his grimoire to, all right, we're doing the magical exam. The magical exam at most is like another chapter in the manga, and if the anime is at least consistent about adapting the whole chapter, then the anime should just finish with simply, oh, all right, the anime's next episode should finish with Asta getting into the guild. I'm not gonna spoil it for those who care. But my point is that the filler could potentially add some slight fleshing out, but at the same time, it kind of comes at the cost of the one thing that made Black Clover kind of appealing. On top of the fact that it's pretty traditional, but it doesn't really fall into the same annoying fucking tropes that people can't stand in shonen, at least from like shows like Naruto or Bleach. Or even so, I guess maybe Fairy Tail, but I can't really comment on that because of how inexperienced I am with Fairy Tail lore. The point I'm fucking making is Black Clover's pacing, on top of its no nonsense attitude towards that shit, is what allowed it to stick out. When you take away its pacing, it just becomes you make it worse. So I'm hoping, and this on top of the fact that people already have a pretty high annoyance with the anime so far because the animation has already been inconsistent as fuck. We've noticed that just through these 4 episodes, where I think the first episode looked great, and then like the second and third, and even the 4th episode looked relatively mediocre. And you're just like, why did you do 51 episodes? You didn't have to do that, and I'm mad because I have a sneaking suspicion they're gonna ruin the adaptation. Or at least make it less enjoyable than the manga, which it kind of already is to an extent, but it's still kind of early, so I'm curious to see what they'll do once they get back. This is their first episode 4 was their first episode back in the canon. I'm hoping they kind of roll with the punches and kind of just do episodes, because right now they're only adapting like a chapter an episode, which is way less than what they used to do. If anyone remembers, when they were adapting Bleach and Naruto, they were doing like 2 chapters an episode. But it might be because Black Clover's already fast-paced as it is. It's also doing a little bit of that in-canon filler. So I'm a little concerned with that. The opening leaves a lot to desire because the opening doesn't even go that far into the plot. Like, either they're doing the non-spoiler openings or not much spoiler openings, or they're not going that far in the first 13 episodes, which is what I'm assuming the first season's opening is for. That's concerning in its own right. So, and then obviously we need to talk about Asta's voice being insanely ear-grating. Now, personally, I don't get as annoyed with it as other people do, but I can openly recognize that voice is not no high quality material. And then if you go look at the voice actor for Asta, you realize, oh, this is like his first real starring role in an anime. And you're like, oh, that explains it. That totally explains it. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned about how this adaptation goes. And it sucks because the last show I watched from last season went through the same shit where I enjoyed the fuck out of the manga, but the anime adaptation got butchered because they wanted to go off into a different direction. But if you're already going to do 51 episodes for the series, I think they'll for the most part stick to the canon. I'm concerned about how much filler they're going to throw in. I was hoping somebody would have took lessons from Boku no Hero and went, you know what we probably should do? We probably shouldn't put out 51 episodes of a brand new shonen. I swear, it pisses me off when a show like this that has been doing insanely well gets this bullshit ass adaptation so far. And granted, it can easily get better, but for a show that deserved more than, I guess in a way you could argue it's about what it deserved in some people's eyes. A mediocre show gets a mediocre adaptation. And I get it. I don't think that's fucking fair. I think every show needs to be represented properly. You're trying to get people into the manga and get them to buy the merchandise, and you're not even representing the show properly. And Fairy Tail kind of suffers something similar from what I've seen of the animation. That's what Black Clover's animation reminds me of. It's like, it's not like bad, but it hits that weird spot where it feels a little bit too generic for its own good. And the only good animation we've gotten since like the first episode or two is literally the last few minutes of the episode of episode 4 where Asta breaks Asta's fighting the Baha dude. So, you know, I'm just concerned. I would like this show to do well, and I would like the show to gain a real sense of a fan base outside of Japan. Maybe people want to get into it. They think they like the characters, they like the way everything looks. But the way they're handling this adaptation leaves a lot to be desired. But I want to know what you guys think. So please tell me in the comment section below. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Patreon. Support the Patreon if you can. Vent me in there for some of the videos that may or may not show up on YouTube. And thank you all for watching. So this has been Schizomatic. Life's a game. Play to win. And I will catch you guys later. Peace out.